onesie. Um, Let me tell you guys, I used to live in Mexico. I had a cliffside house campo on the cliffs of northern Baja, and it was completely off grid. I moved there during the pandemic, and the place was set up with these like 180-degree views, just like a wall of windows looking out onto the ocean. And I would watch the whales go by, the dolphins, pelicans would go floating by. Um, and I took a picture of myself in this onesie in front of that view, which was just stunning. And that is the picture that gets me the most dates, if you can believe it. Every once in a while, a guy friend of mine will let me flip through his Tinder or his Hinge, and I'll look at like some of the photos that women are putting up there that are just like them in like lingerie. And I'm like, girls, could be a onesie. You could just be so comfortable and getting so many dates. Dudes love the Totoro onesie. And you know he's a good dude if he recognizes Totoro. He recognizes the Studio Ghibli character. I have been needing to comfort myself all day. I tried for 4 hours today. I am starting my period soon. That's not an excuse. That's just the reality of the situation. There's also, the full moon. I had to block my situationship, and then there's just like the state of the world. Um, and I really feel like I got nothing done today, but that's not true. And I have to keep reminding myself of this, that just because I didn't do everything on my impossible to-do list. Think about like, I don't know if you have ADHD, but like you think like, oh yeah, I should be able to, do every single one of these things. Um, you couldn't finish in a month if you actually had the executive function to do any of it. So I met with a client today. This is one of my secrets for success: is set meetings. Right? This is why I don't have clients hire me and then I do the work separately from them. It's like, no, we got to be on a call together. We're going to do it together. That's the only way I work. And it's always interesting to me, as I was discussing yesterday, these conversations go in a million different directions. I never know where they're going to go, because even though I'm a business coach, I'm also a spiritual life coach, and I'm also a Capricorn and an INFJ who just gives really good advice and has an innate understanding of people and knows how to see people's blind spots, for better or for worse. It makes it challenging for me in my own personal relationships, but it's great for business when I can immediately pinpoint like, oh, this is what's been holding you back. And here's what you should do about it. So I won't go into details about what I talked with my client about today, but I am just saying that out loud to remind myself that like, no, I met with a client for a full hour today. And just because I didn't make it to the yoga studio, which I could still go, there's one more class tonight that I could make it to. I'm not going to do it, but I could. I also baked a loaf of bread. I have to go finish it up. I've been going it through its rises all day. So it's a, 2 to 3 day process to bake sourdough for me. That's just the way I do it. So I'm going to go finish that up after this. And I texted and talked with two of my besties. I had a planned call with my bestie who has the same name as I do. We're both Morgan Lees. She spells her middle name differently than my middle name. That she spent like an hour on a call with me. She's going to come visit me at the end of this month. And then one of my college girlfriends called me just out of nowhere. We rarely ever talk. Just the nature of things. She's got, a husband and 3 kids. I'm living my life. She just happened to call me and she said I'd bet on her thoughts, and I just immediately burst into tears. And because she's known me for so long, she was able to remind me like, Morgan, you've been through this before. Like you're gonna come out of this one okay. And this is one of the things I really value about having all sorts of friendships, but especially long-term friendships for people who have known me through several eras of my life. I recently reconnected with my first college roommate, and let me tell you something, we hated living together. She actually moved out after 3 months, and we saw each other every once in a while. We didn't really keep in touch. But then last year she got divorced, and we reconnected, and now she's one of my very best friends, and we text all day long. And she's another person who helps remind me, like, you've been through depression episodes before. You're allowed to like experience this and go through it, and it's not gonna last forever, even though it sure does feel like it. When you have chronic depression, I have early childhood abuse that led to CPTSD, which means I've been dealing with depression for many decades. And I've tried so many different ways to just like get rid of it. And it turns out I had someone give me really good knowledge, which is that at some point, it's just something you have to learn how to manage. And so that's what I wanted to talk about today is how to manage it. Alex Diaz, what are you talking about? Who cares? Get out of here. I'm talking about whatever the fuck I want to talk about. But no, today I wanted to talk about how I manage my most depressed days, which often coincide with my cycle when I'm about to start bleeding out of my vagina. Is that going to get Alex out of here if I start talking about bleeding out of my vagina? Every once in a while, when I'm doing something like skiing and I see other people, like other dudes doing what I'm doing, and I'm doing exactly what they're doing, just like going down these double black diamond mogul feels like it's nothing. I want to get to the bottom and turn to them and be like, guess what? And I'm bleeding out of my vagina. I just did what you did while bleeding. That makes me stronger than you. So when I'm having a depression day, I put on my depression onesie, this bad boy right here, and I give up. I just completely give up. I look at my to-do list and I'm like, you know what? Doesn't matter. It absolutely does not matter if I do any of these things. Baking is something, it doesn't really cheer me up, but it gives me a way to just like create something, to use my hands slowly in a very low effort way. So baking is something that I do. To manage depression, I take a ton of supplements. I'm on medication for this stuff. So I take my medication. But of course, that's all just for management. It's not actually healing anything. It's not actually removing the problem from my life. It's just making it possible for me to get through the day without wanting to fall asleep forever. I finally, like, I was trying all day, like, just stay out of bed. 'Cause if I get into bed, I'm gonna fall asleep and then I won't be able to sleep all night. And that's like somehow even worse when it's dark out and like you can't sleep. So I eventually just gave up on that and crawled into bed with the book and tore through 200 pages of a Barbara Kingsolver novel called Flight Migrations, which is all about climate change, another hopeless topic about whatever your opinion is about what causes climate change. The reality is, as a skier, especially here in America, we're looking at like some mountains have nothing, absolutely no snowpack. Here in Jackson, they're having one of their worst seasons ever. My yoga studio owner knows that I moved here literally just to ski. I was only going to be here for one season, and she was like, you have to stay for another season because this is not common for Jackson. And I was like, it might be from now on, girl. Like, this might be it. Like, every season is a new adventure, and apparently humans don't think we have any control over it. So it's only going to change for the disadvantage of humanity. Unfortunately, it's something like depression we're just going to have to learn how to manage. So I try to make the best of it, and take advantage of the warmer days. But on days like today, I just haven't left the house. The agoraphobia if you don't know what agoraphobia, it's fear of leaving the house. That's one of my symptoms of depression, is when I'm just too fucking scared to walk out the door because of the horrors that await me because of just how awful humans are. And the reality is, most humans are okay. Most humans want to help. Most humans are like just doing what I'm doing, just trying to survive and get through the world. But when you're spinning through social media, doom scrolling, and just looking at all the awful things that are happening in the world, it's impossible for a depressed brain not to think that's what's going to happen to me. So you better just hide away and not do any of your work and not bother helping anybody. A few other things I do to help with depression: gardening. And I don't mean smoking a joint. Cannabis doesn't really help with depression. But like literally getting your hands in dirt is proven to help your brain create serotonin. Doing things like, I've already mentioned, like calling my besties, telling them like, hey, I'm having a really, really hard day. How do I get my teeth so white? I'll put an Amazon link once I post this video to the mouthwash that I use. It's a mouthwash plus hydrogen peroxide. Don't take my advice. I'm not a dentist. Talk to your dentist about how to get your teeth so white. That, and I do Crest white strips every once in a while. I don't know, they're probably not very good for you, but whatever. Santiago, indeed. What the actual fuck? I 100% agree with that question. I do like how I'm getting more comments on here, even though you guys are clearly not my target market. And I'm on this, my business YouTube channel, just to see how if I get on here every day for a month and talk about whatever the fuck I want, how that affects my business in the long term. So that's what we're finding out. That's what the fuck, Santiago. Yeah, so RL BIP, subscribe to me first of all, and then check the comments and I will post a link on Amazon. It will be an affiliate link. So I will get paid if you click on that link and buy something through Amazon, even if you don't buy what I recommend. If you buy anything on Amazon, clicking through that link, I'm gonna get a little bit of money for that and I appreciate that. Santiago, go kick your brother in the shins. No, don't do that. Don't be violent. Go tell him that he needs to go pet an animal very sweetly if he's having that rough of a day. That he feels like telling an internet stranger talking about depression. What the fuck? Yeah, dude. Sounds like you're having a hard life if that's how you communicate with humanity. Actually, it sounds like your brother needs to hire me because he's not a kind person and his energy is not great. Sounds like he needs a healing session. I'm not offering healing sessions right now. I don't offer healing sessions when I'm depressed because it's hard to tap into that energy. But there is one thing that I wanted to talk about today that is related to business after I got all that depression stuff out of the way, which I brought up just to be relatable, just to be like, I know I'm not the only one going through it. I know that's true. So I just wanted to talk to you guys about the fact that if you've had a hard life, if you have had a hard childhood, if you have had bad things happen to you where your brain you have literal brain damage, that's what PTSD is, it's literal brain damage. You're gonna have to manage depression for the rest of your life. You're never gonna heal it. Anyone who says they healed PTSD, they didn't have PTSD, all right? PTSD is something you learn how to manage for the rest of your life. And this is, I've been telling you guys what I do to manage it. I'm gonna do, moving my body usually helps. I'm just way too tired, way too exhausted today. So I'm gonna try to do a 15-minute video. I partner with a fitness AI company called Tempo. And they have these great monthly challenges where if you do like a certain number of workouts, and they have them all listed out for you, they pick them out for you. They range from 15 minutes to 35 minutes. They actually keep me in really good shape. Like, I'm not gonna show you guys my abs right now, but I'm 42 years old and I have a six-pack. And it's thanks to workouts like that, and also the fact that I ski and I'm a yoga teacher. So there are just some days where I'm like bare minimum, the absolute bare minimum. So I'm gonna try to do a 15-minute video while I put on one of my comfort food shows like Schitt's Creek or Scrubs or Parks and Rec, something I've seen a million times where I know what's gonna happen and it feels safe for me to watch that. And let's see, but what was the thing I was going to talk about? Oh, so I'm a business coach, but I'm also a yoga teacher, and that confuses some people because how could I possibly have the experience for both? Well, I had 20 years of working in the corporate world. I was moonlighting as a yoga teacher, and then I got laid off from working in marketing and PR and mergers and acquisitions and accounting. I worked like everything you can imagine in the corporate world. So when I got laid off with the biggest smile on my face, I realized I never want someone else to tell me how much money I can make. So I'm gonna start my own business. They gave me a fat severance package, $30,000 to fire me. And I spent some of that money on a business coach, and I built up a private yoga clientele. And within like a week of hiring this business coach, I'd made my first $1,000, and I was like, great, this is sustainable, I can do this. But then in working with that business coach, I also realized like I need to start creating passive income streams because I can't just do this like one-on-one trade for money over and over again. So other yoga teachers noticed that I was making a mortgage and making enough money to pay a mortgage in Santa Barbara. And they asked me to help them. So that's how I became a business coach. Other yoga teachers asked me, how are you making enough money as a yoga teacher? And I said, let me teach you how to run a business. And then they hired me. That was, 2017, however long ago that was. I get most of my business coaching clients through two different ways. I've talked about it on here before. Here through YouTube, through one video I posted years ago about my work on Insight Timer. And I get them through referrals. And I also get them through teaching yoga. People just see my light in the yoga studio and they come up to me and they're like, tell me what you do. And I tell them what I do, and then they end up hiring me. So I've now met with a few clients this week. I have a contract now with two people where I worked out a trade with them. But someone came up to me after a yoga class and asked if I did workshops. And I said no, because I hate, even though I am a marketer, I hate marketing yoga workshops. I hate convincing people that they should do the things they need to do to take care of themselves. That's another one of the reasons I moved into business coaching. So I could help other yoga teachers market themselves. That lights me up. Marketing my own yoga workshops, not my bag. So I said, no, I do privates. Because it's way easier to sign private clients and you make way more money and you make way more of an impact. Working one-on-one, I'll speak for myself. I make way more of an impact working one-on-one with people as a yoga teacher. So she said, let me explain. I work at the cancer center here, and I'm looking for someone like you to come in and do workshops. And she texted me today and gave me the number for the person to contact. I mentioned that I also do work in hospice because I'm an energy healer and I help people die in the most peaceful way. And I know that sounds crazy that I'm saying this with a big smile on my face, but the reality is people who are called to work in the illness world and in the death world, it's because most of us have had really hard lives and we've really ridden that line between life and death, and we have a deeper understanding of what it means to suffer. And also I've studied the healing arts since I was 24 years old. I'm 42 now. So I've studied everything from yoga, obviously thousands and thousands of hours of yoga. I've studied traditional Chinese medicine. I was in a master's program, and Thai massage, actually like in Thailand, went to Thailand, studied Thai massage. I've studied Reiki and other various energy work modalities. And I combine that all into a magical system where I'm able to transmute people's pain and suffering. And I just send it off into the ether. And the first client I ever worked with was actually a fellow yoga teacher. She told me her grandma was in hospice and was having a hard time. And I said, well, you want me to come do some energy work with her and see if I can help? And entering into that room, I could see her aura glowing. I could see the angels in the room. It was such a magical, beautiful, mystical experience. This was so many years ago, and it still just gets my heart every single time at how magical it was. And I was able to help her. I was able to help transmute her energy, because here's what happens when you start to decompose. If you are suffering a long death, which modern medicine is a miracle, except for how much it rejects death, such an inevitable thing. It just delays the inevitable for so long. There are easy deaths and there are long deaths, and long deaths are typically very challenging deaths. So as your body starts to decompose, because modern medicine is keeping you alive, any sort of trauma, any sort of emotion that you have not processed in your body starts to be released. And so that's why you see a lot of dementia patients who are just so upset, because their bodies are reliving the traumas that they did not process, that got stuck and stored in their body. And when we're talking about emotions, I'm talking about literal chemicals, literal hormones that your body releases, that your brain remembers. This is what happened when we experience this hormone. And as your body decomposes and it starts to work itself out through your system, the brain interprets that as we are back in that moment. And so I go in and I do my work and I help remove the energy that that their bodies are trying to release. And it's just so magical to see someone go from just screaming and crying and thinking they're in the middle of the worst moment of their lives while they are dying. They're thinking they're in their 20s, whatever the worst moment of someone's life can be. But I'm sure you can imagine. Just to see them go from just like extreme pain and trauma to just within seconds, absolute peace. And that's one of the gifts that I was given as a result of the challenges I've had in my life. I'm going to say it was a gift I was given. It was actually a gift that I sought out. It was something that I chose. I am suffering too much. I do not want to suffer this much. What can I do to relieve my suffering? And now I offer that to other people. It's one of the many things that I do in this world to make money and to make the world a better place. So I was very excited that this woman texted me again today to give me the contact information so that I can start working with the Cancer and Hospice Center there, because that is something that's really been missing from my soul. And I know this is going to sound crazy to anyone who doesn't get it, but working in the death world really feeds my soul because it is such a magical place. Okay, so I've been talking here for now 20 minutes, so I'm gonna scoot off of here. This is my experiment of going live every day on YouTube for a month, and just no plan, no strategy, just talking about whatever I want, seeing what's come out. This is what came out today. So thanks for joining me. Thanks for watching it. And I'll be back at some point tomorrow. Who knows what'll come up tomorrow? It'll be a big surprise to all of us. Have a great night.